We are
We
all
have
just
knitted our hearts together.
We have knitted. We are a tight knit.
We are a tight knit
We're
community.
a tight knit family.
Oh my
Okay,
God,
we're
we can
done.
plan it to
We're- yeah,
death,
we're-
right?
We're
We
good.
can plan it to death.
Hi everyone. Today we are joined by Felicia Eve of String Things Studio. Thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
We're here to talk about you and everything that is String Things Studio.
Yes.
Tell us where String Things Studio is located.
String Things Studio is in Park Slope, Brooklyn,
Okay.
New York.
Okay, so for all of our non-New Yorkers, Brooklyn is part of the 5 boroughs.
It is.
And it's a really cute shop. And it's like that really coziness in the store. And then also when the weather's right,
Yes.
you got an outside space.
I double in square footage when it's warm outside. So I go from my 600 square feet of cozy, cool, kind of Cheers bar-esque to,
Yeah.
you got a dog, it's okay. You can take him in the backyard. You got a kid that's running around, it's okay. They can take a lap in the backyard.
Take a
So
lap.
you can get some relaxing time. Oh, and the best is if you come with a husband. We got husband chairs and newspapers in the backyard.
Husband
they love
chairs,
it. They love it. Yeah, they
I
love
love it. No, it's really nice. We gotta backtrack for a minute. Because you weren't always a yarn
No,
shop
I
owner.
didn't. I was a little girl. I did not say when I grew up I want to own a yarn shop. That was not it.
What did you say when you were a little girl?
When I was a little girl, I wanted to grow up and be a doctor,
Oh.
and that's what I did.
That's what you did.
And that's what I did. I'm a podiatrist. I always say in another life, and I was and am currently still a podiatrist.
That's crazy.
It blows people's minds all the time when
How
they find that
how
out.
did you find your path to
From there to here?
How did that happen?
I went to podiatry school in Cleveland, and it's a 4-year program after college. Then did residency program actually here in New York City. I've caught babies. I've done, implants in place, all kinds of stuff. Like you just do a little bit of everything because you're with all other residents. It's not just
Right.
podiatry residents.
Where was the moment where you're just like, I want to open a yarn shop?
Oh, that was many years after. So if we're 2 years old, it was probably in earnest, probably 2-3 years before that. I was like, I think I'm going to do this. But I always traveled places, and everywhere you go, as knitters do,
Sure.
I picked up things that I was like, that yarn store was really great. Like if I ever had a yarn store, that's what I would like to have. Or there were yarn stores you'd walk in and you'd be like, never. Yeah, I just enjoyed it, and I really got back into it again because with surgery, it kind of keeps your dexterity up. So
Sure.
it was, work related, you could say, when I was practicing.
No, I love
But
that.
it really keeps up your dexterities.
I appreciate the hustler within you, kind of just like moving,
Listen,
shaking, getting
doing
it
my
done.
thing, yeah.
I appreciate that because I just aspire to be like that every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't let things just like fall. I want them to, things to come to life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, there's so many people out there, especially more and more in this time that we're in, that I feel like a lot of people are becoming entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
And they are starting things. And like, I guess one thing is it's not easy because
Not
you
a little
become
bit.
your own boss, right? So
I kind of learned that, I feel like, even when I was practicing medicine,
Sure.
because as a doctor, you are a business, right?
Sure.
If they don't teach you how to bill and get your money, you won't be practicing very long.
Right.
It's the same thing with a business, like, with a yarn business, with any kind of business. If you don't know how to sell yourself or whatever your product is, it'll be you and your product sitting right there by yourself. String Things Studio really was born out of sadness for me because my mom passed away. It'll be 4 years in October. Single mom. She was like 17 when she had me, so we were close.
Right.
Grief is real, and people do it in different ways, right? So initially, spent a lot of time getting my kids dressed and going to school and on the couch, knitting through that whole process. And a friend of mine, while I was gone this one particular summer, I got an email saying that La Casita, did you know La Casita? La Casita was a yarn shop in Carroll Gardens in Brooklyn that was open, and it was the closest yarn shop to me from where I lived, but they were closing. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Now you're talking about small. They actually were smaller than my shop.
Right.
But they had a bar.
I like that.
And a beer license, an alcohol license. So they were at the bar and a fireplace. It was great. But I was literally remember calling them on the phone going, why are you closing? And they were just like, the owner sold the building, so we're done. And my friend immediately read the same email as me and called me separately on the phone and was just like, why don't you just call them and tell them you want to buy this shop? Like, you've always talked about owning a yarn shop. Like, you really need something. You need something right now to kind of get you back into yourself and off of the couch. So that was kind of planted the seed, right? So my older child at the time played travel soccer. And then we were at a travel game in San Diego, California. And one of the other moms said to me, you know, I remember somebody asking you, you know, what's your dream job? Like, if you could have your dream job, what would it be? And she said, you described this place that I'm not even a knitter, but I would want to come to that place. She was just like, I think you should try to do that. So, and I just talked about, you know, I'd open a yarn shop. I wanted to be yarn, and I also wanted like snacks and drinks and things like that, coffee, tea kind of things, you know, feel like an extension of my living room or my kitchen, you know, teach you how to knit, you know, different types of events, but just be a happy place for people to be able to come and take a load off and knit. You know, Worldwide Knit in Public Day.
Right.
June 10th.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Wow.
2017, I opened.
Wow.
And it has been a whirlwind ever since.
Wow. That's amazing.
For me, it's all about the string. That was my thing. It was just like, it was all about the string. And studio was important so that people didn't feel like they just only came here and knit or crochet or anything like that. Because I mean, I rent my space to writing workshops 3 nights a week. And, you know, people, just like we're getting ready to rebrand our knit night and just call it string night because we do so much more than knit. I mean, we eat, we drink, we solve the problems of the world at that table back there.
Sounds delicious.
Okay. You gotta come. It's a good time.
I think I gotta come.
It's a good time.
I think I gotta
Somebody
come.
described us as cheers. Like,
I love that. I love that so hard. I'm so thankful that you were able. We're gonna cheers to finally having you on, and
Cheers.
to many, many more.
Absolutely.
You can follow. Where can they follow you?
At Strengthing Studio on Instagram.
Okay.
I am also Strengthing Studio on Facebook.
Okay. You can find all of that information below
All
here.
below,
All below.
yes.
You just vanted that very
Exactly.
beautifully. And you have a question for everybody.
I think it's the question that I posed to myself when I was first thinking about opening a yarn shop. Like, what would you want in your dream yarn shop? Like, what is that thing that makes that your shop? You know, what is it?
I'm interested to see what they say in the comments.
Give me some
below.
tips.
Yeah,
See if I need to add something to my space.
she needs. Maybe we need like a slide in the back. Or
I don't know. I
something,
mean,
you know?
we got picnic tables in the yard. You know, that's tough. Maybe a hammock.
Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a big thumbs up. And thank you to Felicia Eve for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for stopping by. And we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.
We can all have.
A parade. I'm gonna come to yours, and you can come to
even
mine.
better if we all had a parade together.
Let's do it together. It can be,
'Cause
but
then-
our money will go further. You know, like
Let's have a parade.
you know, this is a real parade. You know.